The three things I have learned so far in the course of the Child and Adolescent Learners and Learning Principles, or Educ 1, are the three following lessons. Number 1, as a teacher, I should be always there for my students physically and academically in guiding them, and emotionally, such as to encourage them to take risks and be less afraid of committing mistakes while expecting constructive feedback from us, their teachers. This is especially evident in Villacastin's proximal development or zone of proximal development theory, or the scaffolding theory, wherein we teachers should be there for our students to guide them and to be with them all the way in their journey towards learning and applying those learnings upon their lives. This is also evident in Erickson's psychosocial theory, particularly in the stage of intimacy versus isolation, wherein secondary students, or teenagers to be exact, may tend to isolate themselves. And as teachers, we do not want that, since we must have interaction inside the classroom so as to foster relationships, nurture bonds, and break barriers. Bandura's social learning theory also tells us that in learning individually, I firmly believe that a student can grasp the contents of the subject that focuses on language acquisition alone. But in this course, I realized that in learning in a socially open environment becomes a beacon of opportunity for students to see the connection of the culture and its impact on them as a citizen of this society, and the impact of the language itself on the image of the society and culture they live in. Number 2. As a teacher, following the example of Thorndike's theory of connectionism, I should give multiple opportunities for multiple intelligences for these students to learn and essentially take to heart what they have learned. As discussed in the law of exercise, I should give activities and tasks for my students to not only live the topics discussed in Filipino in the secondary level, but to also use this knowledge in effective communication, literature, cultural appreciation and preservation, and many more. And these, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, I trust can only be achieved when students are given opportunities to grasp the essence of the enhancement that they are enrolled in. This can be applied in a pedagogical approach, starting from the basic enhancement of activities towards a wider scope of focusing the target language using different sets of activities and tasks. Lastly, my dear ladies and gentlemen, I should be that teacher who should have multiple tricks under the sleeves. I have to face it. Filipino is by far one of the most hated subjects by these secondary students. These students are treated by a lot of teachers as the most challenging thing in teaching, or sakit sa ulo, kumbaga. As a teacher bound by the concepts learned in Ganji's conditions of learning, I have to make it up to myself to comprehensively plan what I have to do in advance to make the teaching learning process a meaningful one amongst my students. Teachers should have plans A to Z, as they say. Ergo, to end this speech, we teachers should prepare all the necessary strategies to not only teach the subject well, but to also connect with the emotions and cognition of our students. Because I believe that in order for education to become the honor of the nation, we teachers should mold our students from fresh minds inside the four corners of the classroom towards bearers of light, heartily competent individuals, and visionaries of excellence. This has been Villacastin, and I'll see you next semester. Ad Maiorem Dei Gloria.